Well, welcome to this morning's FHS podcast, and I'm thoroughly delighted to have the Chief Executive Officer of the Middle East, Africa and Asia Pacific for Accor, Duncan O'Rourke, with us here today. Duncan, thank you so much for joining us.
Jonathan, thank you so much. An absolute pleasure, and nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you too. So, Duncan, first things first, I just want to understand, in a brief introduction, how you initially found yourself in hospitality as a young person. I'm not saying that you're not a young person now, but your younger self.
No, it's a good question, and thank you for that. Look, I was blessed to have parents which were living abroad, and what I mean by abroad, in Indonesia, in Singapore, in Lagos, all over the world, actually. And so as a young, having been born in South Africa and then left there when I was 11, I went to an English boarding school and thoroughly enjoyed that. My parents actually sent me there to lose the South African accent, which hasn't done it. That's part of the course. There you go. But due to that, I would always travel. And so every time you went home, it was a holiday. Every time you came home, it was a holiday. Fabulous hotels to stay at. I was very, very blessed. And it always interested me very much. And so when I finished my A-levels, I went to a Swiss hotel school, and I've stayed in there ever since. And it's a extremely rewarding industry and a blessed industry. So, and I'm very happy.
Well, I often see you speaking to students and the likes and talking about what a great industry we work in. But just moving on to this podcast, you're looking after 1,000 hotels in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia Pacific. I mean, that's just an enormous grouping of hotels, 300 in the Middle East, and 45 brands in total within the Accor portfolio. So what I want to speak to you about, Duncan, is your session is on people, planet, and profit. I must say I love that. It's with John Blakey, who's a wonderful mentor of mine, and he's just written a book called Leading with Purpose. So let's carry on with the discussion on profit for the time being, and then I'd like to move into planet and people. Duncan, group revenues, fantastic for 6 months, up 11%, EBITDA up 13%. Tell us a little bit more what's going on and the growth prospects of Accor at the moment.
Look, of course, Accor, like you said, Accor post, we still keep talking about this post-pandemic recovery phase. In our first half year now already, we really posted solid performances, which again demonstrates our strength of our model. And you know that, Jonathan, that we did that split between PME, so the premium economy and mid-scale hotels, versus the luxury hotels. That served us very well. It's been extremely well perceived by the owners, by the market, and so we're able to capitalize on that. And that again shows the strength. That again shows the strength of our groups and the brands in the Middle East and Africa. Out of interest for you, it represents 20% of the region's rooms revenue, and so we've continued to double-digit RevPAR there. Particularly here, where I'm calling from now, United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, the kingdom's country performance was, of course, boosted by the Hajj religious pilgrimage in June, but not entirely, not only about that. So you have Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Turkey, which have all been leading the charge in this region in terms of growth, and with our strong brand presence and our commitment there, we obviously really benefit in the fruits of doing that. The Middle East, Asia Pacific region posted 7% increase in RevPAR compared to the second quarter of 2023. So very solid performances coming in there. We've done a lot of things in terms of optimization, more professionalization in terms of revenue management, in terms of optimization, in terms of our loyalty programs, distribution, again, the right channel. So all these things are bearing fruit right now, Jonathan.
That's fantastic, Duncan. And tell me a little bit about some of the, particularly in the region that we're playing in at the moment with FHS, but Middle East and Africa. Is there any particular standout countries that you're seeing?
I think that the major standout countries here, there's still a very good capitalization, and according to the the WTTC, I mean, you know that better than me. It's $15 trillion in the next 10 years, $15 trillion in the next years, which is twice the rate of the economy. So the major catalyst for us there in terms of development is to make sure that we focus with working with the governments and local partners to support tourism. And answering your question, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, UAE's 2031 vision, Saudi Arabia and Egypt's 2030 vision. We really working very closely to keep growing there. The kingdom, again, like I said, Saudi, strong momentum, and the UAE continues to thrive as a region hub, always will be really central to our growth. But Jonathan, let's not forget India. You know, what excites me about this region is that it's home to some of the largest growing middle class populations in the world, and so there's huge opportunities for mid-scale brands. I'm talking about India, Indonesia as examples, and we're very, very excited about that.
It looks like a huge opportunity in India because it's not massively bigger than Dubai in terms of room capacity. So I can see a huge opportunity there for you. Are you beginning to see that outbound market also from India coming into your region?
Yeah, and I think that's exactly the point there. It's about having a presence there, but it's also about the outbound. And it's, you know, we all read that last year, the largest in the history of aviation plane orders were all done by 2 Indian companies. We partner. We have a very, very strong partner with Indigo. We partner up with them as well. And so we see tremendous growth there. And of course, that order, Jonathan, of those planes, which the 2 Indian companies did, Air India and Indigo, those 2 orders there are single aisle planes. So they're talking about 5-6 hours travel from India, and that suits Accor extremely, extremely well. But in that, you know, you look at some of the numbers. I was reading that in Oxford Economics last week on the plane. Indonesia expects a growth of 205%. India 95%. China still growing 120%. So there's massive growth coming in those markets as well.
Duncan, you must be traveling the entire time. Where are you traveling to at the moment?
I just came back from Turkey. I was recently in Paris. Next week, I'm flying to Sydney and Melbourne and Perth, the Pacific. And then after that, I will come back. And then I travel to Saudi, to Qatar, and then I'll be in Singapore for HiCap. So that's pretty much the next 2 months of my schedule. Full, but enjoyable. And when I travel, Jonathan, I get so much energy from our employees in the hotels. One feels, well, you must be exhausted, but the energy you get from the employees and the Accor artists, we call them artists, is just immense. And so one never gets tired.
Yeah, well, we'll get on to that in a second. But you mentioned Paris, and I should have mentioned this up front, but Olympics, were you at the Olympics? A bit of a sidetrack here, but it looked like I didn't manage to go this time, but it looked like the most fantastic Olympics.
Look, I think Paris did an absolutely fantastic event, and just the settings of the events, the horse run, the dressage, the archery, the tricon, just the settings of those events to showcase this wonderful city on a world stage like this. I mean, they can be extremely, extremely proud. And you know, Jonathan, that Accor managed the entire portfolio of the athletes' villages and all that, and the guests. So we managed that. We didn't have a single incident. The energy from the Accor employees and all the artists who helped make this together was such a wonderful event. So we've done well. You know, you always have that pre and post Olympics in terms of bookings, but we did extremely well. Obviously, we have a lot of hotels there. But I can tell you one thing. I think because of this Olympics, France and Paris next year will have a major, major boost in terms of people wanting to see and revisit this wonderful city. And so we're very proud. Being French, based in Paris, we're extremely proud of what happened. And then the Paralympics as well. We spent a lot of time there, a lot of energy there as well, and extremely proud to be associated with this once-in-a-lifetime event for us.
Well, congratulations. It was pretty spectacular, and must have been amazing to be part of that. Moving back now, Duncan, to the Middle East, let's look at the different segments, premium, mid-scale, and economy segments. What trends are you seeing, and how is Accor adapting to those trends?
Look, we see the trends. Different. It depends on the market, of course, where we base, Jonathan. But to answer the question there, hospitality, of course, has evolved beyond room stays, and it's a really a multi-layered experience where Accor has emerged as in our ecosystem, connecting all our guests and partners with this. You remember this live, work, and play philosophy that we had, and so localization and experiential travel is absolutely key. Keeping our approach localized, which we've done, is paramount for everybody, including our owners, including our artists, suppliers, as well as the guests coming in. But for example, we did a survey of Ibis clients. So just all the Ibis clients, we did a survey of Ibis clients today, with 67% of those clients said, it's important for me to experience new things when traveling. And so that's important. 54% said it's important to try local cuisines. And around 54% said it's important to experience local cultures and traditions. So all these reflective things of changing is coming to our philosophy there. And for the handwritten collection, are properties which are very, very unique to their surroundings, to their local cultures. Mercure is also really delivering high quality standards, but really infused with a deep sense of locality and local discovery. Mercure on the food and beverage. Ibis, again, inspiring travel with this new global campaign. I haven't seen it yet, but we have this new Ibis global campaign, Go Get It. And so that's really been well received. And then, of course, this leisure travel, which I don't do enough of. I do the travel, but not the leisure travel. And that's really that combination of business and leisure travel that blurs into it. All the guests are really seeking longer, more immersive experiences as well.
It's interesting because I'm certainly doing that when I travel. I try to spend a couple of days in the destination traveling. So when we have our FHS Saudi event, I travel and explore Saudi for a few days with my friend David Keane, and it's great to be able to do that, of course, if you have the time and everything else. But I'm glad to see that this is certainly a growing trend in the industry at the moment. So any milestones recently from Accor, new brands?
Well, Accor's had a lot to celebrate in terms of milestones. This year we're celebrating the 60th anniversary of Sofitel, which was the first international luxury hotel brand. You know that from France. And so, again, there, big congratulations to Maud Bailey, the CEO who's really transforming this brand into you have all this competition in terms of luxury. A lot of it is Asian, a lot of it is North American. And what Maud is doing there with her team is to really make a truly European luxury brand there. So they've had the 60th anniversary, 50th anniversary of Ibis Hotels, one of the best-known economy brands. We've just opened the 1000th hotel for Mercure, so we were super excited about that. We've introduced new brands, handwritten collection, as I mentioned, and Tribe. Tribe singles a strategic move so we can really tap into evolving markets where we are a little bit saturated at the same time. There, the handwritten collection is designed with owners, pure owners in mind, Jonathan, and operates with standards that are adaptable, light, respectable to the hotels, their unique identity and the hotel. So that's important. And then the Tribe, as I mentioned, really a design-led position to capitalize on that lifestyle traveler who really wants well-curated spaces for them. So we're excited about that. I mean, you mentioned Accor has 45 brands, 46 brands. In terms of our brands, we have these old traditional brands and the very latest in terms of what the market's offering. And we're very, very proud of the past of those traditional brands, but we're even proud of the future.
Duncan, moving on to people and planet, and as I mentioned, you're on this panel discussion at FHS with other industry leaders, with John Blakey. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing on the whole talent development side, because this is one of the critical issues, isn't it, for our industry at the moment?
It's probably the most important aspect, and we call our employees artists. So they artists, they're an art in what they're doing, but they do it with their heart, and that's where that merge of the words artist came from. So Accor has 333,000 artists globally, working in 300 different job functions around the world. Just in Middle East, Accor has 22,000 artists, and we're proud to count even more than 42 different nationalities, spanning from Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. And we know we are fully conscious that the hospitality of the world depends on the sustainable foundations which we create today. And that is so important. We thrive on fostering this multicultural, inclusive environment that welcomes all people, empowers all team members, and collects innovators and performers there. So we think with our diverse workforce, which reflects our commitment, we take this extremely seriously. We encourage and support our talent to move through the businesses from country to country. This only helps them broaden their perspective, but also really enriches our organizational culture as well. And so there's tremendous growth. The training that we provide is absolutely immense. We spend a lot of time and money on that. We spend a lot of time on money on that as well.
You must have some wonderful stories of individuals within your company that you've brought in from the grassroots and taken them all the way to the top.
We do, Jonathan. Coming back to training in Saudi, in the kingdom, we're shaping the industry itself with Kama Yaz by Accor, an initiative with the Minister of Tourism that is dedicated to nurturing, developing Saudi talent. In Novotel, another example, in Riyadh, Novotel Riyadh Sahafa is led by Accor's first Saudi female general manager. And Hessa Mazroa is doing an absolutely fantastic job pre-opening that hotel. So we have wonderful examples of that. We took part in the Evelyn of Women program in the Middle East and Africa, where we welcome women from sub-Saharan countries for training and professional experiences in the hotels in the UAE. And again, as I started, I'll end that a little bit, this Accor Academy training, the network, making sure that everybody gets the right training. It's not just about attracting talent, it's also about retaining the talent as well. And so this all is all underpinned by our group purpose. And our group purpose, Jonathan, is very simple. We say we are pioneering the art of respectable hospitality, connecting cultures with heartfelt care. That is our purpose, and that is what we reflect with all our employees.
No, it's a great purpose. But it must be increasingly competitive as well to retain the staff, given the competitive nature of our industry and the growth of our industry as well, and the demand for staff. How are you dealing with that?
Look, this war for talent, we've heard that for years and years and years, and it hasn't gone away. You're absolutely right. It's just not about a package anymore. It's about your values of the company, how you treated, your adaptability to these new trends as well, the flexibility as well in what you're doing, and giving chance. And so this honesty, straightforward empowerment and respect that really are the hallmarks of what we do help us to retain our talent. And we've done a very, very good job with that. We also at the same time because we're growing so fast, we also look for talent as well. And like you said, we also make sure that we always attract the right talent. It's not all about nepotism within our core portfolio. If we see people from outside who can add value, then we do take the opportunity and invite them to join us. We've done that on numerous occasions, and those people have added value, tremendous added value, and they are blossoming as well in our new structure as well. So it's not going to go away. But you're absolutely right. It's the people, the company that really gets the talent aspect 100% right and wins everything, in my opinion. It's so important, the people around you and their values, and maintaining and driving and keeping that passion. That's going to make a difference between you and everybody else.
Yeah, and you were saying that earlier about how the staff around you really inspire you, and with all your travels and everything else, you've got your teams around you, which must be the most thrilling thing as well, to cultivate.
I mean, it's just words can't describe it. You sit on 3 planes, you've been traveling for 3 weeks, and you come into a hotel, and that warmth and that energy, it's just absolutely priceless. The energy you get from the Accor employees in the hotels, in the offices. You can travel for 7 months and not even notice you traveling for 7 months. It's one of the, I never look down that I have to travel, because I'm always excited now, because I know what's coming and that energy that I'm going to get, and I look forward to it. And so I hope that our guests feel the same thing. I'm sure they do, and I know they do. But it's a wonderful, wonderful benefit to have.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. Sustainability. You have the amazing Brune Poisson, who is head of sustainability at Accor. Give us an overview of what you're doing, because this again must be one of the biggest challenges for any company nowadays. How do we manage, and how do we become a company that's leading in this whole sustainability, this ESG space?
And you're right. We're very fortunate to have such a high caliber as Brune heading up the ESG, the ESG department within Accor. And, Brune said something which is very, very pertinent 2 weeks ago when we were in Paris and we had a meeting. In every meeting, by the way, we talk about sustainability, we talk about ESG. That's just as much as we talk about finance, as much as we talk about top line. That's how important it is. But Brune mentioned that. She said, just doing enough is not enough anymore. And we really, it's become in terms of all stakeholders, it's doing enough is not enough anymore. So Accor, in my opinion, here we have a real competitive advantage. And I'll tell you what, because we're European, and the European market and the European laws and regulations are a lot more stringent than other companies around the rest of the world. So Accor is boldly leading the industry in terms of creating net positive hospitality, responsible tourism. Our hotel owners, development partners, and investors are embracing this ESG more and more, and seeking to make a positive impact as well. In Egypt, Movenpick, Aswan, they have an organic farm, 12,000 square meters, currently meeting 45% of the kitchen needs. I mean, that's just incredible that we're starting to go that way. They want to increase that from 45 to 70% by 2025, and then converting that farm and food waste into over 30 tons of natural compost to help the other farmers around the area. In Africa, the poor men in Makuru, Nairobi, Upper Hill sponsor Samburu Women's Village in Kenya, which is a shelter for abused women and children. They provide jewelry, which the hotel sells, and we sell this in our hotels and put the money back. So there's tremendous. I can give you hundreds of examples, but our continued efforts to really exemplify responsible hospitality is inspiring to us, to the stakeholders, to our guests, and is really leaving a lasting and positive impact on destinations, that ecosystem, as well. And this, by the way, is how we build a model where we contribute more than we take. And Jonathan, I have sat in investment committee meetings where a hotel is being rejected because it hasn't passed the ESG criteria. And so, we're looking at the water consumption, a lot of things moving really in the right direction there. We really want to create a positive impact economically, socially, environmentally. We really want to create a positive impact and really, with our owners, with our employees, with our guests, really take this journey towards that famous net zero carbon. And lastly, that key initiative which we did, the School for Change in 2022, which is an in-house Accor training program focused entirely on sustainability. That has been so well received, both internally and externally. What else can I tell you? Single-use plastics across 90% of our properties finished. We're getting all the hotels to adopt a green certification. We got now, I think I don't remember, it's 25 or 28% of vegetarian dish on all menus. So there's many things. Brune is keeping us focused and honest, I can assure you.
Well, that's great to hear, and the innovation that's going on in this whole space is fascinating, and also retaining the staff as well. It's this culture of innovation, sustainability must help enormously to retaining the staff, those values that you're creating.
100%, and that's why I mentioned before that retention is so important, and those values. And so staff talk, they have friends who work in other companies, and when they see what we're doing, how we're promoting, how we're embracing this, they also become extremely excited to be part of our journey.
Now, listen, let's end up on FHS. I'm going to see you in a few weeks' time, Duncan. Thank you for joining us, because you're traveling all the time, so it's great to have you with us. But give us an insight as to how FHS benefits Accor. How does it work for you? I'm interested getting some research here, Duncan.
Look, I've said this before, but I think it behooves me to say it again. FHS Road is an excellent forum, Jonathan. Engaging with industry leaders, meeting them face to face, this exchanging of insights. It's extremely important for me. It's extremely important to Accor. It's just as important to our president and CEO, Sebastian Bazan, who's flying in. And if you think my schedule's challenging, you have to look at his. He's personally flying in as well there. It gives you a first, it gives me, but I'm sure it gives everybody, a first chance to have first-hand knowledge of the trends, of data and insights that will inform our decision-making as we go forward. I think it's extremely important as well. And I'm also, like I said, I'm also looking forward to the Branded Residence Forum with Accor One as well. Particularly excited to be part of the panel. I'm on a panel leading with purpose, that commitment to people, planet, and profit with John Baker. So I'm looking forward to that. But I personally, and you know that, do not miss an FHS forum. I think they are important. They give you a pulse. They give you a trend. And it's all about decision making. And when you have this data, this reliable data, and the latest trends going, it does make our life easy.
Well, that's very good to hear, Duncan. Thank you for that. And listen, I look forward to seeing you around the corner, and again, particularly on your panel session as well, leading with purpose. It's going to be an awesome session. Duncan, great to see you, and look forward to seeing you around the corner.
Jonathan, thanks very much. Lovely to see you again, and we'll see you in Dubai soon.
Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.